guys, Welsknight here, and welcome back to another episode of Hermit Skies. I hope you guys are having an awesome day. I am having a fantastic day. I've been doing some stuff between episodes. I set up a smelter, or I set up my smelter in this room, added this room over here for all of our Tinker's construct needs. I'll be using this a little bit for today's episode. Our slime farm is running amazingly well. If we look at slime pearls, we now have about 3,000 of them. So that is lovely. And we're getting close to setting up like this full-blown automated farm system, which I have started laying out over here. This is what our farm is going to look like. So basically we're going to have, and this will be multiple layers. So we'll have different floors that kind of go down. I think the top level is going to be like this big kind of grand greenhouse. And then we'll probably put an elevator like over here or something, so you can drop down to lower levels, which will basically just be this copy pasted, over and over and over again until we have enough for all the things that we want to grow. But each one of these little 5x5 squares is going to be a farm. And basically, the goal here is to focus on production speed rather than production quantity. So rather than having massive fields of a specific resource, we're going to try and focus on having a smaller field of that resource, but just having it grow really quickly. That's kind of going to be the plan, because it'll be better for space, and I think it'll be better for resources and everything just in general. So yeah, that's kind of the idea here. So the first thing that we're going to use, we're going to need a few different things here to kind of get this properly going. And I am probably gonna have to set up a cactus farm at some point. I hadn't thought of that yet, but we'll get to that. So the plan is this: each of these is gonna have a resource. As I said, we're gonna have an Ender.io farmer right in here, and I think I've already made at least one of them. Let's just see. Farm. Nope, I have not. That's all right. I have gathered the resources to make several of them. So we'll make 4 to start with. We're also going to use some of these growth crystals as well. And if we look at the growth crystals right here, they're not super hard to make. It's basically dirty glass, which is soul sand and glass. That'll make 4. And then iron, compressed bone block. That's pretty easy as well. And then sea lanterns. And that's the hard part, because we need prismarine to get these. So to make this, we need guardian essence. And guardian essence is, the seeds for that are obtained using guardian chunks. Okay. So actually, we kind of need to get into mob chunks if we're going to do this. I thought we needed, I just thought we needed prismarine, which we can get. Prismarine we can get by throwing quartz into a mana pool with an alchemy catalyst underneath it. And that's what I was going to do. But actually, we need guardian chunks. So, in that case, we should make ourselves a soulium dagger. And soulium is made, let's see. Well, we need a mystical tool rod. That's easy. Can do that. We need soulium dust. Soulium dust is made by smelting soulstone. Okay, that's not too bad. And then prudentium essence. Okay, that's actually not that bad. So let's just grab like 3 stacks of this cobbled stone, this cobbled soulstone. You can get this stuff in the nether. And I've got I took all my machines that were up by the reactor and brought them down here. So let's just toss this guy down right here, and let's just toss these in for the moment. We'll get this stuff smelting up, and we'll let that kind of do its thing. Do I have a chest? Yeah, here we go. And we'll just toss that guy right there, and that way it'll output to the chest properly. Okay, so there we go. We'll wait till we have maybe a stack of this. That should be fine for the moment. I'll smelt up more in a little bit. But, whoa. Hey, no. Disabled. I don't want this. I don't want my tesseract or my dimensional transceiver outputting to this. That's not what I want to do. Anyway, then we'll smelt up the soul stone. That'll turn into soul dust. And then we can use the soul dust to make the soulium. So we need to go essence. And I need, we could probably just use the supremium, actually. So let's go convert all of that. There we go. And then we want to make, come on. There we go. Soulium. Here we go. Soulium dust. What else can I use this for? Is it just basically the dagger? Yeah, it's pretty much just the dagger. So I don't actually need much of this stuff. Let's just make like 4, because I don't know what the durability on this is going to be like. But let's just make like 4 of these, and we'll smelt those up. Those will turn into these soulium ingots, which we can then use to make the dagger. And the dagger, is it like that? What? I could have sworn we just looked at the recipe for that. I guess it has to be on this side? That's strange, but okay, fine. So now we have the soulium dagger, and this is basically used, if you hit mobs with this, it gives you a chance to get mob chunks, I believe. So let's swing down to our mob farm here. And I did rebuild the mob farm between episodes. For a while there, I was just kind of like leaving it be, but let's disable this, and temporarily, let's change that to insert, so drops won't get pulled into this and get voided, potentially. And then we'll just let some mobs spawn in. Just a few. There we go. Also, this area is claimed, which will protect from creeper explosions. But I think... Did I get any soul? No. Not that time. Yeah, don't explode. There we go. Oh, that's an experience chunk. There we go. We got a zombie chunk. Okay. So if we look at these mob chunks, you get a tier 1 mob chunk by smelting zombie chunks. And then you can upgrade it like so. So that works. And then you can use these chunks to make seeds, I think. Maybe? Guardian. Let's just look. Guardian seeds. Yeah, if you get 4, you can use it to make the seed. Okay, got it. So basically, I'm going to have to grind some zombies and stuff here. We may want to set up a system to automate this process, because I'm probably going to actually need a fair amount of these zombie chunks over the course of this series. So maybe we'll want to set something up to do this for us. But for now, I'll just kind of grind a couple of these. There we go. We got 4 zombie chunks. That's enough for the time being. So let's turn our mob farm back on. Extract always. And 1, 2. There we go. We'll get that thing going. And that should do the trick for us for the moment. Okay. So now that we have our zombie chunks, we need to turn these into mob chunks and upgrade them to the right tier so that we can make the guardian chunks. And guardian chunks are made with tier 3 raw fish and prismarine shards. So I'm going to need 8 prismarine shards. That's actually not that bad, to be entirely honest. Let's just grab a crafting table. There we go, just real quick. I'm just gonna toss that down over here. And we're just gonna use this, I think, to make the mob chunks. Although I do need to smelt these 4 zombie chunks up first into mob chunks. There we go. That should be good. And now we can come over here. And is it like so? No. How you make, let's do this. Mob chunk. Okay, tier 1, tier 2. Oh, it's just 2. Okay, so it's even cheaper than I thought. So there we go. We'll make 4 of those. And then I think it was the tier 3 we needed for the Guardians. So let's go. And do I have an infusion stone left over? I totally do. Very nice. Put that here. Do 1 of those. And there we go. That gives us the tier 3 mob chunks. And I think the rest of this stuff I can just toss back into my system for now. Yeah, that should be fine. Okay, so then we want to go Guardian chunks. And for that, we need Prismarine shards. So let's grab ourselves a mana pool. We've got a mana tablet. And we need the alchemy catalyst. And then I also need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 nether quartz, like so. And I think I'm just going to set it up right here because it's only going to be here for a brief minute. So put that there. Throw you on top. Let this thing start filling up with mana. And then we should just be able to go. Yeah, there we go. Look at that. We have our mana chunks that we need, our prismarine shards. Cool. So then we'll change this back to the tablet. Let the mana all drain out because I don't need this anymore. Okay, cool. So now if we toss that and that in here, we can go Guardian Seed or Guardian Chunks. We'll make 4 of those. And then finally, we'll be able to make Guardian Seeds by crafting up all the necessary stuff. But I'm going to need some Inferium and all this other kind of stuff. So let me get that stuff all crafted. Let me get some Guardian Seeds going. I think I should probably set up a cactus farm and stuff as well. But let me get some work done here so we can make some progress on this super farming greenhouse station thingy. And then I'll be back. All right, guys. I have been hard at work. And things are going well. So I've got the first 2 farms operational. All the farms are going to be like this when they're done. So basically what we have here is an Ender Isle farming station in the middle. The reason we're doing this one is because when it harvests crops, it basically does like the right click, sort of like that, where it leaves the actual plant behind. And we could just throw, I've thrown an unbreakable mattock from Tinker's Construct in there. These are made using 1 paper piece, 1 prosperity piece, and 1 any other material piece. So this one was carbon. For the other one, I used iron because it really makes absolutely no difference whatsoever. But basically, we're just exporting everything that gets picked up down underneath using item conduits. There's also energy conduits here that power these things, and it all ultimately feeds into a tesseract directly in the center of this layer, okay? So very, very, very straightforward, and with the way that this is all set up, I don't actually need any speed upgrades. It's able to keep up with the production just fine. So as for speed, or growth, I should say, boosting items, we have the fertile dirt, or maybe it's fertilized dirt. I think it's fertile dirt. We have the lily pads of fertility. And then we have these growth crystals. And these growth crystals are 1, 2, 3 high, each of these pillars. Except for directly in the middle, because there we have the farming station and the conduit. So we just have 1 right here. But these will basically... these growth crystals will essentially affect everything within like a 9x9 area. So each of these fields, each of these little 5x5 fields, is basically under the effect of at least 3 crystals, I believe, pretty much at all times, unless they're like in a corner. Then it's just 1, but still, That helps. And then there's the lily pads of fertility. So, and then the lily pads of fertility, kind of help the ones in the corners because there's more lily pads where the corners meet up. So it all kind of balances out. And the rates are good. I mean, they're not ridiculously fast. We're not pulling in... Well, we probably are pulling in thousands per hour, but I mean, we're pulling in enough that I'm not going to have to worry about it. Especially if I chunk load this area, I'll leave overnight, and when I come back, I'll have more than I can ever use. Now, as for cactus, I was talking about potentially making a cactus farm for these lily pads of fertility. What I totally forgot about is that nature essence can be used to make cactus. So if we look at this nature essence, dude, look, I can make cactus all day long with this. 16 cactus for, what is that, 7 nature essence? Yeah, 7 nature essence for 16 cactus. And we're farming, I mean, this has been running now for maybe half an hour, and I'm up to like 1,800 nature essence, and I've already used a bunch of it to make more lily pads of fertility. So we should be basically set. As far as this goes, especially after we let it run a little bit, we'll get all these different essences. And I'm probably not going to fill up this entire thing all at once. It's just going to be something that I kind of gradually add on to as I find a new crop that I want to grow. I'll just add one and so on and so forth. But we do need to decorate this place and kind of clean it up. So what I'm thinking, I want this to be a big kind of greenhouse. So I've kind of outlined the structure as I'm kind of envisioning it here. What I'm thinking we'll do is we'll have some really big windows. I think that'll be really good. Kind of going up to about here, right? So essentially we're gonna have a framework, and then we'll have windows kind of behind it a little bit. So right here, for example, this is going to be one big window, kind of like we have over here, here, et cetera, because we want this to feel very kind of open. It's not actually going to be open. It's going to be enclosed because we'll have glass and stuff, but we do want this to feel kind of open and outdoorsy, if that makes sense. And the way that we're going to do that is by using a massive amount of glass for all of these walls and things. I don't know what glass I'm going to use yet. I might use the white stained glass that we used over here for these windows. That might be what I want to do. I haven't really decided yet. Also, I think there's a little bit too much limestone here right now. So I'm not really a huge fan of that as well. And really, that's because I kind of outlined the building or the room in limestone as I was kind of planning it. And then I just didn't change it. So we have a lot of limestone here right now, and we're going to keep some of it. I think the walls are going to be limestone, or the framework in the walls, not the, as I said, most of this is going to be glass when it's all said and done. But I think we're fine to have at least some of this be this limestone texture. I think that'll be perfectly fine. But there's too much limestone. All of this is this border right here is limestone, and a lot of it is just very it's too much. It's too much of one texture. So we need to kind of mix that up in some manner. And what I'm kind of thinking is maybe what we'll do is you can kind of see where I've marked out not really pillars, but supports for the cross beams that will support the roof. I'm thinking maybe what we'll do is we'll take this bit right here and change that, and then this outline block to something different. Maybe something gray would look good. I want to stick with very kind of neutral colors here for the actual structural elements of this room, because we're gonna get a lot of vibrant colors from the plants, all the different flowers and or all the different mystical agriculture seeds are gonna give us just a huge variety of colors, and I think we want to try and kind of balance that a little bit. With much more neutral and kind of boring colors in the walls. I think that's the smart thing to do. So let's also see if we can figure out how we want our windows to go right here. I'm thinking we can keep it pretty simple and go like so. And then where would this one be? It would be right here, I believe. I think. Let's test this to make sure, but I'm pretty sure that this will be the proper shape right there. There we go. Yeah. Yeah. Those are the same size. Okay, cool. So we'll have a window there, and then this one is going to be a little different. And what we may end up doing is kind of bringing this window up to kind of meet up with the frame. So like, for example, it would maybe go, like this instead, right? Like the window would be kind of diagonal shaped. I don't really know yet. I'm still planning. I'm still thinking on this whole thing. But I wanted to give you guys kind of a general idea of how it's going to look. I'm probably going to do a good chunk of this off camera. This is actually taken a lot longer than you might think because all of the different types of seeds and growing all the different things. And I'm already like 6 or 7 hours into this episode, believe it or not, even though we haven't really had a whole lot of actual video to show for it. But I mean, this is good. This is good. We have a good start on our greenhouse. We've got all of these crops automated now, so these are all being harvested automatically. One thing I do want to do real quick is I do want to add a Chunkloader. So let's go chunk right here, and we're going to use chicken chunks. This Chunkloader right here, it's a pretty easy recipe, enchantment table, a couple gold ingots, and an ender pearl. Not a big deal. Very, very, very simple. But basically, there is chunk loading in FTB utilities, but a lot of the other hermits have said that it doesn't always work. Like, it's kind of unreliable sometimes, and that's no good. I mean, obviously, if we're going to be doing stuff here, we probably want to make sure that, if we're going to chunk load this, if we're going to chunk load an area, we want to make sure that it is properly chunk loaded. So let's see, if I put it here, and we give it a radius of 1, 2, that should be enough, I think. I think that'll work. So let's plop this guy down right here, I guess. And we'll say show lasers. Let's go radius 2. And it'll load in a square. Okay, so it is rotating. It doesn't go far enough that way. Okay, so we're going to have to go radius 3. And that should cover the whole greenhouse. And it does. Okay, awesome. So that is fantastic. I'm going to kind of turn my chunk loading on and off as I go. I'm going to have this chunk loaded for now, but like, for example, that's going to be a problem. I did not consider that none of that roof section is lit up. Let's sleep real quick before anything else spawns up there. But yeah, as far as the chunk loading goes, when you're on a server, you really do have to be kind of considerate of other players when it comes to chunk loading. So, like, you don't want to go too overboard with it. We don't have any official rules that we've agreed to as a group, regarding hermits. Like, we haven't set down rules saying, like, you are only allowed to load 3 chunks at once or anything like that. But, I mean, basically, it's just a matter of, kind of use common sense and be considerate. So I'm not going to chunk load everything I can possibly chunk load all the time, because the more chunks that are loaded, obviously, the more it hurts server performance. And, that's really one of the big pitfalls of modded Minecraft, especially on a server. Like, when you have enough technical machines and all that kind of stuff going, you're going to struggle. You're going to struggle with performance issues. And that's in a single player world. On a server, when you have, 10, 15 people who are all doing the exact same thing, where they're all making massive automation and all sorts of crazy technical machines and all this other kind of stuff, then it's, the same problem times 15 or whatever, So like Hermit Pack, for example, when we did Hermit Pack, it might have even been like a couple of years ago now. I don't remember. Well, not a couple of years, but maybe a year ago. I don't know. Either way, when we did Hermit Pack as a group, by the end of that series, the server performance was so bad that it was practically unplayable for a lot of us. And it wasn't because the server wasn't good. It was just because there were so many people who had so many technical things and so many chunk-loaded areas and mechanism and like all sorts of crazy stuff, myself included, to be honest. It wasn't. I'm not blaming anyone. It's just kind of when you have so many people at once, all playing on a server with modded Minecraft, especially when everyone is kind of I guess what I would call like a power player, right? Like someone who goes crazy with all the technical machines and all this other kind of stuff. Like, it can really lead to problems. So I'm not going to be chunk loading absolutely everything that I can chunk load all the time. I'll probably chunk load this like overnight, and then I'll probably call it good. And as far as our quarry goes, I think I'm probably going to stop quarrying after my current quarry project, I guess you would say, is done. Like right now, I'm quarrying one more area in the deep dark. You can see some of the resources coming in. But I think once that's done, I'm just going to turn off the quarry. I'll throw it in my system, and pull it out when I actually need it again. Because at this point, I mean, do I really need 101,000 iron? Like at this point, I have the resource. I have all the resources that I'm going to need from that quarry, at least for quite some time. So I'll probably just stop chunk loading that. The idea is to kind of reduce my footprint, because it's the courteous thing to do for everybody else on the server as well. But this is something that I'm going to have to continue to work on between episodes or in the next episode, one or the other. I do want to design this and make it look all pretty, but right now, unfortunately, guys, I am out of time for this one. So my friends, if you enjoyed the video, you know what to do. Links in the description below, so check that out as well. Otherwise, my friends, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.